Return of the Jedi, also known as Star Wars Episode 6, is a 1983 American epic space opera film directed by Richard Mark Quine. The screenplay written by Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas, originally from the story by George Lucas himself, who also acts as the executive producer. It is the third installment in the OG trilogy, as well as the last film in the OG trilogy, set a year after The Empire Strikes Back. The film stars Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Billy Dee Williams, Anthony Daniels, David Promise, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, James Earl Jones, and Frank Oz. And the Galactic Empire, under the direction of the ruthless Emperor, is constructing a second Death Star in order to crush the Rebel Alliance once and for all. Since the Emperor plans to personally oversee the final stages of its construction, the Rebel fleet launches a full-scale attack on the Death Star in order to prevent its completion and kill the Emperor effectively, bringing an end to his hold over the galaxy. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker struggles to bring his father, Darth Vader, back to the light of the Force. And Steven Spielberg, David Lynch, and David Cronenberg were considered to direct the project before Richard Mark Quine and producer Howard Kazagin spent 2 weeks in conference discussing ideas to construct it. And the film was released in theaters on May 25th, 1983, and it received mostly positive reviews. And what can I say about this film? Well, let's talk about the good. And the good is that, what can I say? It's a nice end to this little trilogy of movies, the OG trilogy, like, I like the whole end of it, like, it does feel very, like, there's a lot at stake here, it feels very, out of all the Star Wars films in this OG trilogy, this feels like the most urgent one. It's very fast paced, it's very like, we gotta get here, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. I love all the acts in this film, like from the Jabba the Hutt act to the, the Ewoks and the Rebel Alliance versus the Stormtroopers, to the little space battles in the sky, to Luke's confrontation with the Emperor, with Vader. Everything about this film was just wonderful, and it all just kind of put a nice bow on it. Roger Ebert gave the film 4 stars out of 4, calling it a complete entertainment and a feast for the eyes. And that's what the film is. It is a feast for the eyes, The visuals are so grand and amazing. The cinematography is just wonderful, I like kind of the callbacks to the first film in a way, returning to Tatooine. It's kind of like, I like how it starts off at Tatooine, and that's how the first film kind of began in a way. I kind of like how it's just kind of coming full circle in a way, and I really like that, Yeah, I really enjoyed this film throughout. Some of my favorite scenes, like the highlights, was Luke and Vader's like interactions, like you could just, like, Luke as a character has really changed, and like he's matured now. He's gotten to know what the Force is about. He spent the past year debating and fully understanding that Vader is his father, and he's just, I like how he wants to bring him back to the good side because he's his father. All the stuff Obi-Wan told him, how he was a great friend, a good pilot, and all that lot. He wants his father back in a way. And I thought, yeah, that's really cute. That's good for you, Luke. Good for you. Him, Vader, and Emperor scenes were also great. Emperor saying that he will, he will make Luke come to the dark side. If he just releases all his anger, and then Luke just has this temptation, how he's just kind of like stuck in the middle between wanting to attack and staying back. But if he knows if he doesn't do nothing, bad things will happen, and it's just that inner turmoil and all that is just absolutely fantastic and amazing. Obviously, big spoilers for this film, so be warned. I've already warned you in the beginning, but yeah. The thing is that with the whole twist with Vader being Luke's father, that was common knowledge for me. I knew that even before I watched these films. It was something you just knew, and I didn't know where I originally found that twist, but I just knew that Vader was Luke's father. It was something you knew. But what I didn't know was Leia and Luke being twins. being related, that kind of floored me a little bit when I first watched this film back in 2015. Like, I was like, wait, what? This is what? And then you realize that when you think back to like the second episode, it was, you know, when Luke was calling to Leia and Leia responded, it was like, I should have seen that coming. Like, yeah, I remember when Yoda was like, nope, there is another Jedi. It's like, all these foreshadowings were just there, and it's just, oh, now I get it, and it makes so much sense in a way. But yeah, I do, you gotta love these three characters, you know, the three musketeers. Like, I love how they work off one another and all that lot. Like, really do like them. I feel like Leia is really becoming, although the first act when she was like, you know, in her bare bones was a little bit, but I really did like her, like, you know, her leadership, like, you know, when she was like leading the troops, and like I like that, you know, that strong woman. Like, she's one of my favorite female characters in any movies, to be honest with you. She's so strong and feisty, you know, and I just loved her dialogue as well, you know. I love Lando, how he's finally, like, he's kind of like redeeming himself from betraying his friends in the previous one, and now he wants to help and join the cause, fight the bad guys, you know, and do all that lovely jazz. I flippingly love that, you know. I love seeing Jabba the Hutt's like palace in a way, like the grandness of it, and I really did like seeing Jabba's puppet, like the original Jabba the Hutt, not the CGI slug we get. This looks better. Like, this Jabba the Hutt looks a lot better. It looks a lot more decent and nicer. Like, I did like it. I also think the lightsaber fight in this film was a lot better. Like, there was a lot more action, and it was a lot more, it felt violent, even though there was no blood. Like, the attacks felt very violent. Like, if you were hit by any of those attacks, you'd be done for, you know. And it was really intense, and you just, you got into it. It was like, wham, damn, and it was just really great, you know. Absolutely amazing. What I liked about this film is, like, you see Luke has like a dark costume in a way, and what I find interesting is that Luke's costume like changes throughout the film. Like, in the first film it's completely pure white, then in the second film it's kind of like a muddy white, kind of like a brown, and then in this film it's just black. And I feel like it kind of resembles Luke being surrounded by the dark side, knowing that his father is Darth Vader, the most evil, ruthless dude in the galaxy, and he's confronting the Emperor. He's locked in, like, he's just surrounded in pure darkness. But also, I also think that, I feel like I read somewhere, like, Luke was originally, like, an original idea was Luke being Darth Vader, like, he was gonna kind of put on Darth Vader's mask in a way. I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's true or not. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about Luke possibly being Darth Vader towards the end, but it being changed. I'd like to know, but that's what I kind of thought, you know, in a way. And yeah, just a great flick. I also just, you know, like, Vader finally, you know, turning around and like killing the Emperor. Yeah, him throwing the Emperor down, and like Luke taking off his mask and seeing his father for his first time. It was just like, yeah, it's just, it just all came around. It just was a nice, neat bow, you know. I absolutely did love it. I really thought it was amazing, and all the characters were great. I also think C-3PO finally got his time to shine, you know. Like, I don't know, like, I always found, like, in the previous two films that people kind of found him annoying, or he was just kind of there in a way. But in this film, he was kind of useful, and he kind of helped in a way save the day in a way. He aided in the, you know, victory in a way, like, which I thought, yeah, was great in a way. I don't know, that one scene with Luke and Leia, you know, when Luke just tells Leia, what do you remember about the mother, and how she's describing obviously Queen Amidala from the prequels. And I don't know, I just really liked that scene, you know. It just felt, I don't know, like how Leia has, you know, just remembered her more than Luke in a way. I don't know, I just like that little scene. And Yoda's always a treat for the eyes, and I liked him, and I like Obi-Wan and Luke's kind of like, you know, conversation back on the Dagobah system. Like, I thought that was really cool. Like, Obi-Wan telling Luke about truths and all that lot, you know, and just him talking about Vader and all that. I don't know, I just like all of, you know, Alec Guinness's, like, you know, scenes in these films. I think they're all great, you know. In terms of my mixed aspects for the film, I'd say Han Solo. Now, Han was always a great dude in the first two films, but I don't know, like him being a damsel in distress in like the first act of the film, and for some strange reason when I was watching the film, I kind of felt like he wasn't really, I mean, he inputted, he was doing his thing, but I don't know, he was kind of there a little bit, but I don't know, it was just my little thing. He did do a lot of stuff, but I don't know, there were times when he was just kind of there and wasn't doing much in a way, but he always has the great lines, he always has the funny lines, he always has great dialogue. We all love Harrison Ford. But in terms of my negatives for this film that I have, obviously the additional like CGI effects when they go to Tatooine, I don't like all those additional CGI stuff. It ruins the film, it ruins the pacing and all that lot. Just additional CGI stuff looks really bad. It really ruins the film, to be honest with you. I also am not a fan of the Ewoks. I kind of found them annoying, but the more I watch them, the more I'm kind of warming up to them. But I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the Ewoks. I despise them. I despise the Ewoks so much. I kind of wish they were on like the planet of, you know, the Wookiees, or like just somewhere else, like because I felt like as allies, like I don't know, like they could have been anywhere else, but the forest moon of Endor, like really? Oh, come on. Never mind. But that's just little nitpicks. I don't hate them, I just don't really find them that interesting. But apart from that, Return of the Jedi is an epic flick, you know. It has great action, great writing, great dialogue, great visual effects, a nice remastering, I have to admit, you know. A great, nice end to this wonderful trilogy of films, you know. And for that, Return of the Jedi definitely gets all three of these Star Wars films get 10 out of 10 and 8 stars in my opinion, just because every time I watch these films, I just feel so much better about myself. Like, I feel, they just get more epic, and they are good films, you know. Like, I can watch these films again and again and again and again and again and again. John Williams' score is always great, and I just love it. I mean, yeah, they are really great films. I mean, maybe if I'm being real nitpicky, if I'm to really, I mean, I can't really say they're all 10 out of 10 and perfect. I mean, first one probably gets 9.5 out of 10, New Hope. Then the second one probably 10 out of 10, and this one probably 9.5 out of 10. Just because, in my opinion, there are a little inconsistencies with, like, as I said, like those additional effects ruined it, and in the second film there wasn't as much of it, so that's why I was more okay with it. But they are all perfect, they are all wonderful films, they are all A stars for me in my eyes, to be honest with you. But what do you think about this film? What's your favourite Star Wars flick in the original trilogy? But with that said, thank you for watching this review. Please like and share this video, and stay tuned for a lot more Star Wars movie reviews. You do not want to miss them, and other stuff. But thanks for watching this review, and as always, Boydude Reviews signing out.